Hello and welcome back to the AOE Farms YouTube channel. Today I'd like to go through, in a classroom setting, the pre-planting phase. There's 7 things that I can suggest in this phase to help get you ready to start your farm. So let's start with our first bullet point. Find local resources. It is very important that you know what tools you have at your disposal. Some of the things that I've found in my local area are chip drop. Because I'm in the Arizona desert, there's not a lot of grass, there's not a lot of wood chip areas. Everything's brick and rock, and it was very difficult for me to find anything resembling mulch or anything I could use in my pathways. Luckily, I found chip drop. Chip drop is a service where lawn caretakers will cut up different trees, and instead of dumping it at the local dump, they'll bring it to you. You schedule a drop and they'll drop it off. The next resource that I have at my disposal is IAS Labs, which is a soil test company. The process was really easy. I dug 6 different holes in my backyard, about 6 inches deep. You want to get around the root zone. And I bagged up 6 different samples of soil, brought it to them. They took a 3-day period and sent me my results. It is kind of expensive, but I wanted to get a lab test done just to get the absolute basics of my soil. The one I did purchase it did come with examples of how to fix the soil, recommendations of how to fix the soil, and so that was really helpful. From this point, since I already have one done, I'll just go to the handheld kind of at-home tests as I transform my soil in my yard. The next resource I found was compost. Because I have such sandy soil, I knew it was going to be really important that I found a good compost company. And this is crucial to, especially in desert areas, to really getting started. I'm going to have to amend my soil quite a bit to get it in shape for growing. And finding a local compost company is very important. The one I found delivers to my house, and it's not too expensive. They also do worm castings, and they have lava rocks. They have a bunch of different stuff at my disposal, so that was very important for me to find. Another resource that I found in town was the Arizona State University Farm. This is a cool resource because you can go down there and you can ask questions, and they have a couple different programs that involve people in the community. Unfortunately, I have not yet been down there because of the thing that shall not be named. But nonetheless, it is a resource at my disposal. Alright, so the next point on our bullet list is assessing challenges. It's very important that you look at your area and know what challenges that you might face before planting. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. You can talk to local farmers, talk to other gardeners, go down to your local hardware store and see what they know. For me personally, stuff like weeds and invasive plants, that's really not an issue, which is a huge time saver for me. If I had weeds, I would have had to tarp the back, wait for the weeds to die. That would have taken about 3 months. For me, I don't have to worry about that. One thing I do have to worry about is rabbits and other small animals. Luckily, there's only 2 points of entry into my backyard. As you saw from previous video, I have a cement wall, cinder block wall all the way around my perimeter. There's 2 points of entry that I've controlled and I can keep an eye on. Another point that I need to keep in mind And this is something that not a lot of other farmers have to worry about, but it's the sun. It gets 115 in the summer. So whereas some farmers won't be able to plant during the winter, I really doubt I'll be able to plant during the summer. It's something I will try and do, but it's going to be a challenge for sure. And I have a couple ideas, but it took a lot of planning and took a lot of thought. So we'll see how that goes next year, because luckily I'm trying to get seeds in the ground around September. So that's some of the things that I have to face, the challenges that I have to overcome. Assess your challenges. Know what you're facing. Next bullet point is compost. The first thing I did when I got to my house was build a 3x3x3 compost bin. I searched the area for free pallets and I just got to work. Later on in another video I'll show you my compost setup, but it's something very important to think about if you want to do. Maybe you don't want to get so into compost, maybe you do. You also have to think what kind of compost that you want to do. Is it just compost bins? Do you want to incorporate chickens and do chicken manure? There's a lot of options and you need to figure out what's best for you. Alright, next on the list is our plan farm layout. It's important to remember that your farm has two parts. A post-harvest area, which if you don't know what that is, that's where you wash, dry, pack, clean all your vegetables that you've just pulled from the ground, and your farm area. So it's important to know what systems in the post-harvest area you'll need and where they'll go. For me, I don't have a lot of tree cover in the back, so I've picked the most shady area and designated that for my post-harvest area. As far as my farm and the layout, I've measured, decided how many rows in ground I can fit, and I've decided how much vertical growing I will have at my disposal. It's important for you to figure out what you have at hand so that when you get to the last step, purchasing seeds, you'll know what to look for. Have a list of all the different things that you need to fill, and step by step you can figure out what seeds you need. Another important note is know where the sun is. What direction is it moving in regards to your backyard? Know where the shade is. Know which point gets the most sun. This will be important for placing certain crops that require certain amounts of sun. The next point, it's kind of a twofer. Make equipment list and purchase equipment. When making your list, you want to just get everything down in one go. Get a big long list, and when you think you've got everything, then put it in sequential order. Stuff for the post-harvest area can come later. Don't worry about that. Stuff like rakes, shovels, your seed starting kits, your lights, your racks, all that stuff, get first. Make a good list and purchase the things that you'll need first. Another tip when writing your list is go ahead and decide while writing, what am I going to get for free? For example, stuff like shovels, rakes, pallets, that could all be found for either free or really cheap on resources like Craigslist, the Buy Nothing group, the Facebook Marketplace. There's different resources out there to find the cheap stuff. Something that you might want to start looking more expensive though is stuff like your seed starting trays. Definitely your light bulbs for your seed starting. This is all stuff we'll get into later, but it's definitely important to think, what does my money need to go into? For example, I bought some seed starting trays off of Amazon. That's something I kind of tried to go a little cheaper on, but I found the trays, the 70 cell trays, and the under bottom trays, well, they didn't fit. So it was a big hassle. I just returned them and said, I'll go to a good company, Bootstrap Farmer, and I'll get really good trays. And after feeling the difference between those trays, I'm really glad that I went with the more expensive ones. In the long run, I think they'll last me a lot longer and it'll be worth it. Alright, so we're on our last step, purchasing seeds. You know how many beds you're going to have, and you know what kind of area you're going to have for vertical farming. You know where your sun is, you know where your shade is. Now it's time to pick out your seeds. Now there's two types of seeds that you really want to focus on. Quick growing seed crops like your salad greens. These are things that are going to grow within 60 days. Or your kind of crops that you can harvest over and over again, like tomatoes, Swiss chard, or kale. These are things that are going to keep producing for you throughout the season. So keep those things in mind, and you can slowly start to build where your seeds are going to go, what you're going to plant where. So I think that covers everything. Remember, find local resources, assess challenges, think about composting, plan farm layout, make equipment list and purchase equipment, and purchase seeds. Well, I hope this style of video was not too boring. I'll try and change it up every now and then, have a classroom setting kind of thing like this, and then do more vlog styles outside. I want to thank you so much for watching, and just thank you for all the support. Please like, comment, favorite, hit the bell, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye. Just talk, dude. Starting form. Just do it. Cheese. So what?